Hi guys, welcome back, or if you're new here, welcome to Nickey's kitchen. In today's video, we are going to make this delicious stack of banana oat pancakes, so stay tuned for the recipe. I'm starting off by peeling 2 ripe bananas and placing those in a bowl. You want to use ripe bananas for this recipe. Anywhere from ripe to overripe bananas is fine. Just make sure you're not using underripe bananas. I'm going to pop this in the microwave for 1 to 2 minutes, and this will help soften the bananas as well as make them a bit sweeter. Next, using my fork, I'm going to give them a quick mash. I'll mash them until they're a fine consistency and they don't have any lumps. If you find that your bananas are still hard, pop them back into the microwave and this will make the mashing easier. Next, I'm going to make my oat flour, and I'm doing this by pulsing some oats in my grinder. You can either do this or buy store-bought oat flour. I'm going for 2 cups of oat flour. It would be more convenient to pulse an entire batch of oats so that you have ready to go oat flour for whenever you need it. And if you choose to make oat flour at home, you can use either jumbo oats or quick oats for this process. You will notice that the oat flour is not as fine as wheat flour, and that's okay. And you'll also notice that the oats are very absorbent. They'll end up absorbing a lot of moisture from the wet ingredients that we'll add into the batter. Therefore, we'll have to keep on lightening the batter with a few splashes of milk or water, if that's what you prefer to use, since the oats are very absorbent. This also makes them a lot more filling to wheat as compared to wheat, and they're also a great alternative to anyone who suffers from celiac disease or has any gluten sensitivity. Once we have our 2 cups of oat flour into the bowl with the mashed bananas, we are going to add a tablespoon of baking powder and a teaspoon of vanilla and give everything a really gentle mix. Bring everything together before adding in the wet ingredients. This is what the mixture looks like. Next, we are going to go in with the liquid. I'm using 2 eggs, and I'm beating the eggs separately before adding them into the batter. This is in case any of the eggs were spoiled. I wouldn't end up adding them directly into my batter and end up ruining the entire batter. This makes it easy to discard the egg in case any of the eggs were spoiled. After throwing in the eggs, you're gonna need a bit of elbow grease here. Whisk in the batter until the eggs are well incorporated and you have a nice consistency. But as I said earlier, oats are really absorbent, so you're going to need to add a few splashes of milk or water while you're making the pancakes, because the more the batter sits, the more absorbent the oats get and the less runny the batter becomes. So you'll see me add a few splashes of milk as we go, and I'm using soy milk here, but you can use whichever milk you please. Moving on to the pan, I'm using a non-stick pan over high heat. You want to make sure your pan is really hot. I've added a splash of oil to prevent my pancakes from sticking to the bottom of the pan. Then using a 1/4 cup as the measurement, I'm going to spoon a 1/4 cup's worth of the butter onto the pan and spread the butter around slightly. I'm using a 1/4 cup as a measurement so that all my pancakes are around the same size. Make sure you don't spread your pancakes out too big, because as we used oat flour, these don't have any gluten, and gluten acts as a glue to hold pancakes together. So if you spread them out too big, they'll break apart when you try to flip them. You want to cook both sides of the pancake for 2 minutes each until they're nice and golden. Then transfer them onto a plate and repeat the same process. And here I just want to show you how absorbent the oats had gotten. As you can see, my butter is very thick and I'm having a hard time spreading the pancake. But when that happens, just add a splash of milk or water to the butter, and this will help smoothen the pancakes out. And as always, I'll have the exact measurements of all the ingredients down in the description box. Lastly, you can either decide to have the pancakes plain or do what is my personal favorite, which is sprinkle a few chocolate chips onto the butter while it's cooking. Then the heat from the pan will melt the chocolate, and this will result in a really delicious ooey gooey feeling. The chocolate also helps add a bit of sweetness onto the pancakes. If you noticed, we didn't add any sugar to the pancakes. Not that the pancakes need sugar because the bananas are already sugary, but if you're a bit of a sweet tooth or you just happen to love chocolate like me, I know you love this addition. So either top your pancakes off with chocolate chips, or if you don't have chocolate chips, you can cut up a bar of chocolate and sprinkle that on top as well. You can't really go wrong with chocolate, so I'm sure most of you will enjoy this fun, delicious little topping. I love chocolate. I really love chocolate, as I'm sure many of us do. So feel free to try this out. You'll see once a pancake is cooked, all the dark brown spots, that's where all the chocolate has melted, and it's going to be really delicious. For this recipe, I made a total of 10 pancakes, but my butter was really thick, so if you prefer much thinner pancakes, add a little bit more liquid, either milk or water, to your pancakes to thinnen them slightly, not too much, just slightly, because as I mentioned, these pancakes don't have gluten, so if they're too thin, they're going to break apart while you try to cook them. So with that said, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you'll recreate this recipe. And with that said, I'll see you in my next one. Bye.